Welcome to my channel, The Math Fox. So the new session is beginning, and so we are trying to provide you this year the comprehensive solutions for the entire maths subject for ICSE students. The channel always focus on the syllabus and of the ICSE people. We are specifically trying to provide you the video lectures for the entire syllabus of the book of Concise in that order. So in this series, this is the first video of the first chapter of first unit, with the name is Goods and Service Taxes. I'll try to give you the proper information first of all about the chapter, about the topic, and what is GST. It is for those students who are just joining the new class after the 9th class exams. So you will find out that the syllabus is absolutely new. It has got new types of things, and so let us try to find out what is this chapter. So to begin with, I tell you that we have in our syllabus 7 units in this entire chapter, which constitutes of 25 chapters on the whole. So, and in this, the first unit is of the commercial arithmetic, where we are having 3 chapters: the GST, banking and shares and dividend. In that, GST is an easier chapter, and you will be finding it very interesting because there are new things to explain, new things to understand. We're talking about the indirect and direct taxes, types of taxes. You'll try to know new things in this chapter. So let us see what this chapter, I'm trying to give you explanation of this chapter first of all, that what is GST and how what is the purpose of GST levied by the government on all of us, and how and when do we pay it, and in what circumstances, and how the government collect the taxes from the government. So as you know, we have 2 types of taxes: the direct taxes and the indirect tax. Out of this, the direct tax has got lesser contribution to the government. I mean, in our country, 2 to 3% people pay income tax, and that is the main source of direct tax to the government. Then comes on the indirect tax. The main source of income of the government is indirect taxes. So we divide the taxes in virtually 2 types, main categories: the direct tax and the indirect tax. The indirect tax is that tax which generally everyone pays, in the usual routine, which we pay when we buy something, when we avail some services, when we travel, when we go to movie, when we eat dinner out, when we buy a new bike, when we buy a new car, when we take the recharge of our phone. Everything is being charged by the government in the name of GST. So, and this is the indirect tax. We're not paying the tax direct to the government, rather it is going to government in parts. So indirect taxes are the main source of the income of the government. Let us understand how the indirect taxes are applied and on the things, and how government charges these taxes from the people. So indirect tax का जो पहला पार्ट है वो ये है कि GST का फुल फॉर्म होता है गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स. दूसरी बात यह है कि जितना भी GST कैलकुलेट होता है या कलेक्ट होता है, वो सबसे पहले गवर्नमेंट के पास जाता है. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का उसमें शेयर है, उसमें स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स का शेयर है. लेकिन बिजनेस करने के 2-3 तरीके होते हैं. बिजनेस इज डन, द थिंग्स आर सोल्ड, आर परचेज इन द स्टेट. वी आर सेलिंग थिंग्स फ्रॉम स्टेट टू स्टेट, एंड वी आर सेलिंग थिंग्स अक्रॉस स्टेट और इन द यूनियन टेरिटरीज. तो हम कोई चीज को किसी उत्तर प्रदेश से किसी और स्टेट में ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं, हम किन चीज़ों को स्टेट टू स्टेट कर रहे हैं, हम गाजियाबाद से मेरठ लेके जा रहे हैं कोई चीज, तो देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ बिजनेस बेसिकली, and that the business and so there are two types of transfer of goods as such also. The one is intrastate means, and other is interstate business. So we'll come back to this, that what is interstate and intrastate. First of all, let us understand that what is the GST as such. So goods and service tax, so understand this thing. Earlier, this tax was known as VAT, the value added tax. Now, VAT का ही एडवांस फॉर्म है गुड्स एंड सर्विस टैक्स. GST वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स का एडवांस फॉर्म है, उसकी नेक्स्ट स्टेज है. सो अर्ली वी यूज्ड टू हैड VAT in our country. Then it was changed to goods and service tax by the government, and now we have the purpose of GST is to have a uniform taxation, uniform rate of taxation across the country. So when you buy anything, say a packet of biscuit, either in India, either in Uttar Pradesh or in Maharashtra or in Gujarat or in Uttarakhand or in Karnataka, it is everywhere same. The tax rate on that article will be 5%, suppose, or 10 or 18%. It will be absolutely same in every nook and corner of the country. That is a one main reason, one main purpose of applying GST in our country. So, if I am reading it a little bit, giving you more information about that. Before 2017, we had in our country we had value added tax, excise tax, service taxes, and many of the things. After 2017 July, the government of India abolished all such indirect taxes which were different and introduced a new tax called goods and service tax. Now, goods and service tax is basically the consumption based tax. Now that means as much number of people are there in the transfer of goods from one end to the other to the end user, from business to the B2C इसे बोलते हैं हम, जहाँ पर बिजनेस से कस्टमर तक कोई आर्टिकल मूव कर रहा है, और उसके जो सप्लाई चेन्स हैं, हर सप्लाई चेन उस आर्टिकल की कॉस्ट में एक अपना प्रॉफिट, अपनी वैल्यू को ऐड करता है. सो फॉर से आई परचेज द आर्टिकल फॉर 100 rupees फ्रॉम अ होलसेलर, आई एम अ डीलर, and I'm selling it to the next person, adding 10% profit on my purchase price. So I purchase on 100 rupees, I'm selling on 110 rupees. 10 rupees is my profit. So at this point of changing hands of the object, the GST is levied. As it goes like this, next person is buying from me and selling to the other person. Next person will be adding his value. Say I sold the things 110 rupees to a person, and that person is again adding 10% his profit. So now article is of 121 rupees. So he will be again paying tax on that value which he has added in the article. So it is like whenever things are transferred from one point to the other point, the taxes are added. So GST is levied at every point of sale, transfer of goods or service, or both. GST has replaced all former indirect taxes. Now there is no other indirect taxes. There's only one goods and service tax. It is the only indirect tax to be paid by the individuals or organizations, as all other indirect tax has been merged into this tax only. So either we are using services, we are using goods, we are purchasing some tangible objects or intangible objects. For example, I am purchasing a travel plan, or I have purchased a railway ticket or airline ticket, or I have purchasing, say, a piece of electronic item. So this is the service. जो चीज हम यूज करते हैं, तो मैंने एक मूवी देखी, सर्विस है। हमने किसी कोचिंग का ऑनलाइन सब्सक्रिप्शन बाय किया, सर्विस है। हमने रेलवे टिकट परचेज किया, हमने एक फ्लाइट का टिकट बुक किया, हमने कॉन्सर्ट का टिकट बुक किया। दे ऑल आर सर्विस। Join a coaching class. The service is this. We go and have a dinner outside. I bought a piece of cloth. A good is being purchased. I'm buying food material. I'm going to mall and buying certain items. Purchasing stationery, shoes, you name it. The articles are purchased. While here, in the other category, the service is being availed. Both are taxable. The rate might be different, but both are taxable. So government levied GST, that's why the name is goods and service tax. The goods are the tangible items and services are those which we are using up. We cannot see, but we are using it. That is service. So we have to pay tax for both these things. GST was mainly levied in the country to remove the disparity. Disparity would be in the different taxes, different rates of taxes. As the article is moving from one state to another, there were different amount of taxes from one state to another. So somebody was charging 10%, I was charging 5%, this was charging 12%. There was no parity across the country. It makes taxes simple. It was designed to make taxes simple, although some people say it's very complicated for the business people. But the basic purpose of GST is to make taxes simple and to avoid the cascading tax effect, double taxes. So I am paying tax here also, paying tax there also. This was the purpose to remove these taxes, this multiplicity of taxes from the system. So I tell you a little bit information about this. When a person purchase, say a businessman is there, a ABC company. Now this company is making up purchases. So when ABC company is selling some article to X, ABC is collecting GST on the sales of its goods. The person X who has purchased articles from ABC has paid ABC the input tax. While the seller is collecting the output tax. तो जो ABC कंपनी का आउटपुट टैक्स है वो X पर्सन का इनपुट टैक्स है. Now as X goes beyond and sell it to Y, so again now X is charging tax from Y and Y is giving tax to X. So X is taking its output tax while Y is taking its input tax. So the output tax of one person is the input tax of the another. So if I being asked how much GST is being paid by Y to the government, so suppose to the difference of the GST collected by Y and the difference of GST paid by Y is the amount of GST paid to the government. Please understand that. Slight confusing, I will show you an example for that will make things clear to you. So let me tell you an example. I will solve the questions later on. I'm first of all trying to solve a example for you. So suppose there is a person X. Now an item be purchased by trader X for rupees 5,000 from a manufacturer. So item be purchased by a trader X for rupees 5,000 for a manufacturer, and so who is X? X is a purchaser. He's buying it from manufacturer, and X sold it to Y, say the consumer, at rupees 6,000. That is a profit of 1,000. The rate of GST is 12%. So what do you suggest? How much GST would the person, the X will pay to the government? Now understand the point here. X ने वो आइटम 5,000 रुपीज का परचेज किया था और उसने वो Y को, कंज्यूमर को 6,000 का सेल ऑफ किया. अगर मैं X का इनपुट टैक्स निकालता हूं, input tax of X is 12% of 5,000. That is rupees 600. Output tax निकालते हैं, and output tax is 12% of 6,000. That comes out to be 720 rupees. So GST is it is 720 up minus 6,000, and that would give you 120 rupees. As you can see, 120 is the GST paid by X. To the government. So it can be done in two ways. You can take out the profit of 1,000 rupees and apply directly the GST on 1,000 rupees. 12% of 1,000 is 120. Or try to calculate the value of input tax, 12% of purchase value. Try to calculate the output tax, 12% of the sale value. So my input tax comes out to be rupees 600 and output tax came out to be rupees 720. Now find the difference of these two. I got the value as rupees 120. 120 is the 120 is basically my tax for X to be paid to the government. Now X paid rupees 120. So you can see here, it is all about how much value X added to the price, to the article. He added 1,000 rupees to the article, and so you paid 12% on rupees 1,000 only. So his price came out to be 120 rupees. I hope you understand That is how the things works. That is how we need to find out two types of taxes, the input tax and the output tax. Whatever the input and output taxes are, output tax will always be greater than the input tax because I'm calculating the output tax on the added value, of the article, which added value means I have added my profit in the article. Well, the input tax was on the purchase price. So it's always like I'm selling it on more and buying it on less. So my output tax collection is more and input tax is less. The difference of these two is giving me the GST of my share to be paid to the government. Now, a few points you should remember. The end user is the one who paid everything, the tax to the entire value chain. GST can be calculated by those business who are registered with the with the GST Commission. They have a GST-IN number, as you might be seeing on the shops. There is a GST-IN number. Those who are charging GST, they have to show this number on the shops, and they have to mention their registration number on the bill they are providing to the people who are buying things at paying GST. I hope you understand this much, the very basic of. Now, next, I tell you one more thing here. I'm using these screens to explain you. So the next part, I told you earlier, the business is done in two ways. Intrastate and interstate. What is intrastate? Same state business. What is interstate? Across different states. So intrastate is the same state and interstate is across different states. When I'm selling or buying things from my state only, it is intrastate. When I'm selling it to the different state across, I'm selling article to Delhi, I'm selling it to the Karnataka, I'm selling it to Maharashtra, it is interstate. It's like inter-school competitions. When it's an intra-school competition, the competition between two classes, class 10th A and class 10B, and interstate, class 10th of school A and class 10th of school B. So this is across two schools. Inter-school. Yeah, interstate and the intrastate. There are certain rules which are different for both the case of business. So I'm taking a one by one. So there are various types of GSTs. Like GST has many components. The first one is CGST and other one is SGST or UGST. CGST is collected by the central government for the intrastate transaction. By the central government for intrastate business. SGST by state government for interstate business. Which are like, so I'm reading it up. So CGST is a tax by the central government for the intrastate transaction. Intrastate, I told you, same state. For movements of goods and service and service. In case of CGST, the beneficiary is the central government. The SGST, so half of the tax collected goes to state government and half the tax goes to central government. The tax, the business which is being taken in the same state, in the intra-state. So if the article is being sold from Ghaziabad to Meerut and say the tax rate is 18%, 9% goes to state government and 9% goes to central government. But if the article is being sold across the state, one state to another, the entire CGST goes to GST goes to the central government, known as integrated. Integrated GST, IGST, no share, all goes to सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. सारा का सारा टैक्स कलेक्टेड सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास जाता है. ये तब होता है जब कोई बिजनेस एक स्टेट से दूसरे स्टेट में किया जा रहा है. आईजीएसटी पहले सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इकट्ठा कर लेती है और फिर सारे पैसे को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करती है टू द डिफरेंट स्टेट्स एज पर देयर कंट्रीब्यूशन. In the case of first case, intrastate transaction, where we had CGST and IGST, the seller collects both CGST and SGST from the buyer and deposit half with the central government and half with the state government. The tax collected on the intrastate movement of goods and services is shared equally by the central government and the state government. So suppose the GST is 18%, तो 9% का जो शेयर है वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का है, एंड दिस ऑल इज फॉर इंट्रास्टेट ट्रांजैक्शन, एंड 9% सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का है. अगर ये इंटरस्टेट की बात हो रही है, अगर ये इंटरस्टेट की बात हो रही है, तो सारे के सारे टैक्स की वैल्यू कहां जाती है बच्चों? इट गोज टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. ये सब पैसे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट पे चले जाते हैं. मेरी बात समझ में आ रही है आप लोगों को? और बाद में सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, मान लीजिए कि एक्स रुपीज आते हैं उत्तर प्रदेश से, वाई रुपीज आते हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश से, और लाइक दिस. तो हर एक स्टेट को उनके कंट्रीब्यूशन के अकॉर्डिंग दोबारा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट पैसे को रिइंबर्स करती रहती है, ताकि वो वाले स्टेट यूज कर सकें जिनकी वजह से वो पैसे आए थे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास. हर एक आइटम के ऊपर अलग अलग टाइप का टैक्स लगता है. किसी पर वो 18% होता है, किसी पे 5% होता है, किसी पे 10% होता है, एंड बहुत सारी चीजों पर टैक्स होता भी नहीं है. गवर्नमेंट उनको टैक्स से एग्जेम्प्ट कर देती है, या बहुत चीजों पर डिस्काउंट लगकर टैक्स लगता है. देयर मेनी थिंग्स in that category. I hope you're understanding the method of tax collection. So I'm summing up once again the entire chapter before ending this video. So the GST is goods and service taxes. Now I told you here that basically ये एक टाइप ऑफ इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स है जो कि गवर्नमेंट के पास इनडायरेक्टली पहुंचता है. एक होता है डायरेक्ट टैक्स, एक होता है इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. दो चीजें, हम चाहे वो गुड्स को यूज कर रहे हो, चाहे हम सर्विस प्रोवाइड करवा रहे, हम सर्विस को परचेज कर रहे हो, हमको उन सब के ऊपर गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स पे करना पड़ता है. इस टैक्स को मैंने बताया कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं. सपोज मैंने कोई चीज जो है एक्स एक बिजनेसमैन है, उसने मैन्युफैक्चरर से 5,000 रुपए का कोई सामान खरीदा है, टैक्स का रेट 12% है, तो एक्स को मैन्युफैक्चरर को 5,000 रुपए के ऊपर 12% का टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा, जो लगभग 600 रुपीज का आता है। एंड जो एक्स बिजनेसमैन है वो कंज्यूमर को वो आर्टिकल 6,000 का सेल करता है, तो 6,000 रुपीज के ऊपर वो जीएसटी को चार्ज करेगा, जो कि 720 का आता है। इनका डिफरेंस 120 रुपीज एक्स पे कर देगा गवर्नमेंट को। आई होप this business is little clear to you. I'll try to give you more idea in the next videos. There's an intrastate and interstate business dealing all as well. We're trying to have the business in the intrastate where we're going in the same state only, or SGST. और जब कोई आर्टिकल अक्रॉस द स्टेट सेल किया जाता है तो उसका केवल एक ही चार्ज होता है जीएसटी, जो कि नाम होता है उसका आईजीएसटी या इंटीग्रेटेड जीएसटी। ये सारा का सारा पैसा जाता है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास, वाइल यहां पर दो पार्ट्स होते हैं, एक पार्ट जाएगा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास और एक पार्ट जाएगा स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास। तो कुल टैक्स 18% का है, तो 9% गोज टू CGST and 9% goes to SGST। प्लीज ये ध्यान रखिएगा। मेरा नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मैं आपको दोबारा और क्वेश्चंस को हम स्टार्ट करेंगे करना, विल सॉल्व सम एग्जांपल्स। ये वीडियो केवल आपको एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए था कि कैसे हम चीज़ों को समझते हैं, क्या जीएसटी होता है, कैसे जीएसटी को कैलकुलेट किया जाता है। जब हम और क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे तो हमको और आइडिया होगा कि कैसे जीएसटी को कैलकुलेट किया जाता है। फॉर अवेलिंग दिस वीडियोस, सब्सक्राइब द चैनल द मैथ्स बॉक्स, search on YouTube and subscribe it for having continuous and consistent support for the IGST, for the ICSE syllabus. We will be trying to post videos chapter wise in the form of a playlist. You can use them for your references throughout the year. Thank you very much. Subscribe my channel, The Maths Box.